Television 3, KTBS-TV, Shreveport. Action 3 News, the 10 o'clock edition, with Fred Rhodes, Byron Scheider with sports, and Rick Rowe with the weather.
Good evening. Shreveport public utility workers tonight voted overwhelmingly to unionize with the AFL-CIO. The 148-18 vote came this evening in a meeting of utility employees. One of the main concerns was pay raises. The workers were told by Utilities Commissioner Bill Collins to be patient and to wait for the report of the Finance Study Committee. Action 3's Dan Harrison says tonight's vote seems to indicate workers aren't satisfied with Collins' solution.
Vote to unionize came shortly after Commissioner Collins answered questions from employees who seemed filled with discontent. Collins told the employees he was confident a raise would be granted. The only question was funding. This, he says, is the job of the Finance Study Committee. Collins told the group he would not oppose unionization, but at the same time, he would not support it.
I think that the qualified leaders are there, the supervisors are there, and I'm there. I'm an elected department head. They have supervisors that have worked up through the ranks. I think that they're there to represent their employees.
The workers had a choice of two unions they could affiliate with, and by a margin of 66 to 54, the employees chose the AFL-CIO over the Teamsters. A union official says unionization of one city department won't do any good, that all departments in the city must organize for anything to get done.
If they speak out, well, then that's the only way that they're going to, get any benefits is to speak out on their wants and needs, and then try to get other city employees and union members to back their efforts in trying to generate money to implement these pay raises and benefits.
Despite the vote to go union, the biggest hurdle is City Council approval of a dues check-off system. Without this, union officials say the organizing power of a union is lost. Dan Harrison, Action 3 News.
Byron, what about sports?
Well, the first annual Challenger Awards banquets were held tonight here in Shreveport, and it's hopefully going to be something to continue through the years. We were there. We'll have the story.
Okay, Rick filling in for John. What about weather?
By the way, John Rasmussen, who would normally be here, was there tonight. He's taking a week off, so I'm going to be here for a week. We're in for some cold but dry weather.
Okay. Also tonight, a Texan has become majority leader. Two teacher groups want higher salaries and to look at some unsafe toys for Christmas. These stories and more when Action 3 News continues.
You say you need a wrench? Well, McClamrock's got your wrench and a whole lot more. Yes, McClamrock's has the largest display and stock of tools in Louisiana. You'll find power tools, machine tools, hand tools, and supplies. And best of all, everything is wholesale. For the workshop or hobby buff, the place to shop is the one-stop shop, McClamrock's. Come see for yourself. We have your wrench and a whole lot more at McClamrock's Machinery Company, the tool house of the architects.
Carl's Tasty Sausage, you can taste the quality. Texas made in white right by the McFadridge family. Carl's Tasty Sausage.
When you buy Carl's Tasty Sausage, you're buying the best.
You can taste the quality. Carl's Tasty Sausage.
It came as a surprise to no one today when Tip O'Neill was elected Speaker of the House. O'Neill replaces the retiring Carl Albert. O'Neill is a liberal Democrat from Massachusetts. However, there was a surprise of sorts when the balloting for Majority Leader was over.
The voting took 3 ballots, and it was a surprise. First, McFall folded, then Bowling dropped out. And in the final count, Jim Wright won over Burton by 1 vote. Wright is 54 years old, from Fort Worth, Texas. He's been in the House since 1954. He is known as an easygoing moderate, and it is thought that his relationship with O'Neill will be cordial and cooperative.
I think working with Speaker O'Neill and with President Carter, we can put together a program that will pull this country out of the slough of recession, put American men and women back to work, off of unemployment rolls and on productive payrolls, have a forward-looking and progressive position in world affairs.
The biggest winner in all this may be Jimmy Carter. Jim Wright is thought to be the man closest of the four to Carter in terms of political philosophy. He is thought to be able to further unite the Democrats and to work with O'Neill and Carter on Democratic programs. So now Jimmy Carter has a dynamic duo with whom to work here in the House, Tip O'Neill from Massachusetts and Jim Wright from Texas.
Transportation Secretary William Coleman, after months of deliberation, today announced a postponement of decision on the proposals to require airbags in automobiles. The insurance industry has favored airbags as a safety device that would reduce the deaths in auto crashes and cut insurance costs. However, the auto industry sees airbags as costly equipment the public doesn't want.
Coleman did not reject airbags completely, but called for larger scale tests, citing their advantages.
I'm also convinced that it would reduce traffic fatalities by 12,000 per year and serious injuries by the tens of thousands.
What Secretary Coleman today proposed is a 2-year test with 500,000 cars. It involves getting auto manufacturers to agree to market cars with the airbags in 1979 and 1980. 250,000 cars would have airbags across the entire front seat, the others on the driver's side only. General Motors has been charging $315 for airbags as an option, but Coleman says the cost will be vastly lowered when airbags are mass-produced. $100 for the entire front seat, $50 for the driver's side alone. Secretary Coleman declares that if he ordered airbags for all cars now, the public might revolt, and Congress might reverse the decision after the public protest the way it did a few years ago when cars were produced that wouldn't start unless seat belts were fastened.
It was close, but no cigar today for Billy Carter. The younger brother of President-elect Jimmy Carter was defeated by 19 votes in his bid for mayor of Plains, Georgia.
Right at the stroke of 7, 3 election judges started counting the 161 ballots cast for mayor of Plains. It took just over an hour for the paper ballots to be sorted, tallied, and added up, and the result was no real surprise. Billy Carter lost to Mayor Lauren Blanton.
Billy Carter, 71, A.L. Blanton, 90.
Mayor Blanton's wife was there to hear the news, but her husband works as an air traffic controller over in Albany, and he was on duty till midnight. Billy Carter celebrated anyway, and so did all the good old boys over at his service station. Jimmy Carter even came over for a few minutes to console his younger brother, lamenting Billy would have been great in office.
A few weeks ago, 2 teacher groups, one predominantly black, the other mainly white, voted not to merge. Now, Action 3's Harry Wadsworth says there's a point of agreement between the 2 groups, the need for a pay boost.
The word is raise, as in pay raise. 40,000 teachers around the state want one badly. And in an unprecedented move, both the LEA and LTA are meeting this weekend to see what they can do about getting more money next year. The teachers want 2 things: a raise in the minimum salary schedule. Right now, teachers in Louisiana start at $72.30, 41st in the country. The national average is $11.03. Secondly, the teachers want Act 355 funded, which was passed in 1972, allowing for teacher salaries to be automatically adjusted with the Consumer Price Index.
No, to answer your question, teachers are still behind, and we hope to do something about it just as soon as possible.
Or you think the legislators are going to be receptive to your thoughts this year?
Well, legislators always, of course, have run on a non-tax basis, but at the same time we must all be realistic and face the fact that teachers have to have pay raises just like all other employees.
From past experiences of dealing with the legislature, the Caddo Teachers Association says now that the LEA and LTA division hurts any lobbying effort.
Early next month, the teachers are going to meet with their legislators to try and convince them of the need for a pay raise. If the teachers are successful in that persuasion, the governor might call a special session to deal with, among other things, teacher pay. Harry Wadsworth, Action 3 News, Uri Drive Junior High.
This year, over 5,000 new toys were introduced into the toy market. and 150,000 people were injured playing with toys. With the Christmas season upon us, Action 3's Catherine Frazier has some suggestions about what to look for in toys this Christmas.
Skateboards, tricycles, toy trucks, and cars, well, they're among children's favorite playthings. But since 1970, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has banned 1,500 of these toys because of possible hazards to children. The commission advises parents when toy shopping to watch for sharp points or edges, like on this plastic knife. The edge is sharp enough to puncture the skin. And look for small loose objects in games that children could put in their mouths and swallow. Any toy is potentially dangerous in the hands of a child, so just what can parents do when the toy is brought home?
Children need supervision when playing. The most innocent-looking toy can be dangerous in the hands of an unsupervised, unskilled child in its use. For example, some of the wheeled toys, for example, can injure smaller children, especially if they're unskilled and they are not intended for that age group anyway. Also, we can be sure that toys are stored so that they do not get stepped on and broken and kept in each individual place. Also, we can help the children to check the toys periodically to make sure that there are no broken parts or missing parts.
When Christmas shopping this year, buy toys with the child in mind. Look for playthings that correspond with his age, physical coordination, and mental maturity. And always read the labels. Catherine Fraser, Action 3 News.